Hi everyone, this is Josef. I'll be showing you on how to calibrate the yearly calibration using CFS in this tutorial video. To launch CFS, go to the system tray and look for a monitor icon that is either green or red. Green indicates compliance, red indicates incompliance. Let's go ahead and double click on it, and we're displayed with the general tab right away. So what's in the general tab? General tab has a lot of information. We're not going to cover a lot of the spec stuff here. Uh, we're just going to focus on a couple of things here that you will just need to know about. First thing is hierarchy group name. In this particular section, you will have to pay attention if it's PDM slash first name last name or standard slash first name last name or MAMO slash first name last name. These are really the three groups that radiologists have. If they are PDM, meaning they have primary diagnostic monitor that New York City used to require, that can do self-calibrate, they are in PDM group. If they are standard, which means they have HP monitors but they calibrate with puck. In my case, I'm just rad tech, but I'm considered also standard because I don't have PDM monitors. The next section is the server name or IP address. In this case, it will be cal.vrad.com. Anything that's not correct would simply tell you that it's unable to find that server name on the bottom here. Next section would be CFS status. Monitors that are checked or monitors that are connected to this computer are all listed here. I have only two monitors. If I have four monitors, I would see all four monitors listed. If I have one monitor, I will only see one monitor. In this case, I checked both monitors. So notice here, if I uncheck any of those monitors, it's still listed here, but one tab just dropped out because I don't want that monitor to be a calibration monitor. I'm going to check it back so that monitor display tab is back again. So for individual monitors, you will see individual tabs. Also, you will see the calibration sensor. In this case, it will be USB POC because I don't have internal sensor. It's telling me these monitors are going to be calibrated with USB POC. By default, non-PDM monitors would come like this. Just gonna quickly go back again. So you will see none. So you have to go to individual monitors and set what kind of sensor you're gonna be using. I'm gonna go back to that in a little bit. But for now, that's what you need to remember. The other thing is the status here. If a monitor is in compliance, it will say in full compliance. If a monitor is not in compliance, it says out of compliance, or it says unknown, or it says navigation panel. So anything that's not in full compliance would result red because now there's no status. It's showing me that it's actually green, which is not really indicating it's in full compliance because if I really set it back to USB POC, now it knows that there's no calibration record for each one of these monitors. So this will turn back to red, but it didn't. So that's that again, I guess. There you go. I thought it would stay green, but good. So the red status here is telling us that the monitor is not in compliance. All right. So let's move to scheduler. There's nothing you need to worry about here. Don't worry about event log. In preference, there's one thing I want you to pay attention, and that is the activation code for CFS that is found in our wiki page. So the CFS wiki page can be found in RadTech wiki page. If you go to pulse.vr.com and then search for CFS, first thing that comes out is CFS. And scroll down. I encourage you to look at all the documents. It's self-explanatory, and once you watch this video, all this stuff makes sense to you. So that particular activation code is also found here. All right. That's it about preference. Report, will come back to that at the end of this video. So let's go to display and dive in and quickly look at what's covered and start the calibration right away. So like I said earlier, any monitor that's not USB, that's not PDM monitor will, will only have the option to say either none or USB puck. So I said USB puck. And one thing I want to cover here before I actually start the calibration is you will be able to check the result here on this same display without going to reports or chart, that kind of stuff that you used to in Xcal. You check the white label value, which is the max luminance candela per meter square, should be above 170 value, and the percentage deviation, which is the GSDF percentage, should be less than 10%. So notice here I set my white label target at 250. So when I do my calibration, this should come around that value, and the percentage should drop to less than 10%. Anything above 10% is out of compliance. Anything less than 170 is considered out of compliance. All right, so one of the messages you will see when you initiate the calibration is this: the USB chroma sensor is not responding. This is indicating you that the puck is either not properly connected or not connected at all. If a puck is connected but the cover is not open, you will see a message like this. Notice here, I'm going to pause this video. Please remove the ambient diffuser. So you basically ask the radiologist to remove the white cap from the sensor. So the lens will be exposed and they will be able to put in the puck in the center. So this will time out, or you can just abort it. Ask them to open the cover and you will simply click that recalibrate to DICOM standard once again. Now you will see that there is a button that just appeared. It's the continue button that basically starts the calibration. Before you do that, you ask the radiologist to put the puck in the center of that white box. Make sure the puck is properly in place, either hanged or held by their hand. If they're holding it, you can click continue for them, or they can click continue if they're comfortable doing so. Just make sure the calibration is done without any movement of the puck itself. Once the calibration is started, this process will take about 2.5 minutes or so. So just quickly gonna fast forward here and bring it to the last step here. All right, it's almost done here. All right, so once it's done, I like to remind you again where to check the results. Okay, for that particular monitor, in the same tab, you go to luminance parameters. Remember, we set the target to 250. You can set it to 170, really, technically. That's all we need to care about. So in this case, it's 250 is the actual reading. So the percentage for deviation is 0%. So if it was like 240 or 230, it would drop by 2% or 3% or something like that, depending on how big the drop is. You just have to make sure these two values are, this one is above 170 candela per meter square, and this is less than 10%. All right, you basically repeat the same step for the next display. And then once you're done, we will move to uniformity test. Running uniformity test. So you'll have to close the CFS window, go to System Tray, right click on CFS, hover on Uniformity Test, and click on IS 100%, not the others, just the top one, 100% one. Click on that. So you'll get a message like this. Again, another pop-up window telling you that the puck is not connected because I don't have a puck with me here. But if there was a puck, you will see continue and a white box in the center. Now, running the uniformity test is pretty straightforward. This wizard will walk you through with the result instantly as you run the test. Per box, it would run about 1 second or so. So it's relatively speaking super fast. First, it will measure the value of the center. It will tell you about 250 here, and it will say continue button here. So you ask the radiologist to move the puck on the next white box, and then you click continue. And then once it measures, it will right away tell you the actual measurement and its deviation. Now you need to pay attention to the deviation percentage. The percentage for deviation on each of this box should be less than 20%. If it's above 20%, you have to abort, cancel the uniformity test, go to the monitor setting, ask the radiologist to go to the bezel and set the monitor to factory default, rerun the calibration and rerun the uniformity test and make sure that deviation is set to or the deviation will be less than 20%. So like I said, it will run this one first, and then when you uh, see the white box on the next box, you ask the radiologist to move the puck. You move the puck, and you click continue. It measures and tells you the deviation. Once you're done, you click continue. I'm sorry. Once you're done, you ask the radiologist to move to the next white box, and then you click continue once the puck is in place, and so on and so forth. It's pretty straightforward, nothing complicated about it. Once you're done with the test, you will see all the deviation and everything is in compliance. You can say continue to the next monitor. You cannot separate the uniformity test per monitor. They actually come on all monitors at once. So once you're done with your uniformity test, everything is good. Now you can go to the actual results report page to see the full result for both monitors. Go to reports, DICOM. You go ahead and check on DICOM, and a PDF window will open up. All right, so let me pause here. So a couple of things to pay attention here. The first thing is you will see that both monitors are saying in full compliance for the first line. And the next thing you will see is the actual calibration date was done and the serial number for the puck, calibration verification date and the puck. And the other thing you'll see is the target for max luminance, the actual reading, and the actual GSDF percentage, which would be luminance deviation percentage. Notice here, this one is a slightly higher than the normal. So the target was 250, but it was reading at 251. So the GSDF percentage is about 0.4% normal. So anything less than 10% is good. That's all we care about, okay? Checking the results from the web portal. Please go to cal.vrad.com and you can find the username and password from secret server. Go to CFS workstations details. This is loading. All right, there you go. So once it loads, you can do Control F and look for the workstation that you're checking. You can either check the RAD's name or you can check the host name. In this case, I'm just checking Dr. say Dr. Strong. All right, there is this workstation. As you can see here, one system has been out of sync for about 47 weeks. So you know this kind of system is either a secondary location or it's actually decommissioned system. So I will clean up this, but in the meantime, you just have to know that look for one that has been checked recently. This column will tell you that the system has been on, like for example, this has been on since 38 hours. All right, so don't worry about the colors, but if you may insist knowing what the colors are, you can see the colors indicate green indicates compliance, yellow indicates there's pending items that need to be completed, and red indicates out of compliance, and gray indicates system is offline. All right, so let's search for Dr. Strong again. There he is. So we'll click on the one that's current, and it will take you straight to alert because they're pending items. I'm just gonna not worry about that. I'm gonna go to the general tab where the system is. Uh, Basically what you saw on the earlier video or the earlier demonstration of what the general tab tells on the actual client, a portion of that is displayed here. It also tells you if the system is online and was used today or not. As you can see, on this date, it was used, the mouse and keyboard movement. So that's pretty cool stuff, but means nothing really in terms of accessing the computer or anything. It just tells you system has been in use. Let's go straight to the report. That's where you want to be. And then um, you can just, so the report we're looking for is DICOM report. So you can click do it now, and then a pop-up will come. Just say OK. And there's the report. And then click on the hyperlink. And the same way you checked earlier on your, I'm just going to zoom here. Same way you checked earlier on the report on the actual machine, you can also check the same reports here. Devices in full compliance, um, white luminance target and value are respectively displayed here for both monitors. This is a PDM workstation, so the target was 450 and we're actually scoring 440, which is good. And then the luminance deviation percentage, or the GSDF is what it used to be called in Xcal, is -2, which is great. Another one, it should really be less than 10%. That's all we care about. And then the DICOM calibration date and verification date. Just ensure those dates uh, are within that quarter that they're supposed to calibrate. If they say I've done it yesterday, and you see here it was really done a month ago or 3 months ago, you can tell them maybe it wasn't synced. Restart your computer, and that way you can check it, or you can really go into the local machine and check the results. But you can see it here. Just make sure calibration date is that date, and then verification date is also that date. Um, One thing I want to mention here quickly is we do not run just conformance anymore. Just for a simple consistency reason, we only have one instruction, and that's just to calibrate. And the calibration will include calibration and verification, which is the conformance really. So every time a RAD calibrates using CFS, you should see the calibration date and the verification date stamped the same date, both monitors, okay? And that's really it. That's how you can check your results on the website. Uh, what else? I think that's it. There's nothing else that you need to check here. This is just to show you the full report, what it looks like. Again, what you just checked earlier on individual uh, display for GSDF percentage and max luminance is also sufficient if you check it on individual monitor. But this is just to show you the full report again once you're done. And that's really it for the calibration using CFS.